What's going on, everyone? So everybody, a lot of people are gonna cut this year. 2015, everybody's thinking about, losing weight, getting, ready for summer. A lot of you are confused about cardio. Your main focus is how much cardio should you be doing to get lean. You want to lose weight. You want to see those muscles cut and defined. For the ladies, you want to keep, your thickness, but you also want to lose your stomach fat. You're already making a mistake right there, guys. Once you're thinking cardio, you're making a big mistake already. Cardio is gonna help you lose weight faster, but you also want to focus on weight training. A lot of people don't focus on weight training. Even people that weight train, even people that have been weight training for years, making the same mistakes. They can't get lean because they don't focus on intensity. You got to focus on your weight training intensity. You're most likely gonna get better results, guys, if you focus on how can I burn more calories weight training. How can I, make my intensity so much more that I could, lose weight just because my intensity went up. That's what you want to do. Resting less. Let's say you start resting 90 seconds, between sets. You start going with, with higher reps, 8 to 12. Controlling the weight, not just, pushing it up and down. Things like that, guys, can make an entire big difference, on your results. Making it more intense. The next week, following week, let's say you try to rest, 80 seconds between sets. You're gonna burn more calories. Your heart rate's gonna go up. It's gonna be a lot more difficult. Eventually you go work your way down to, let's say, 40 seconds. You go work your way there, burning more calories that way. You could leave cardio for the end. You'll see results. For weeks on end. You'll see results if your diet is good. If your dieting is good, your weight training is intense. You don't even have to worry about cardio, later on. You could throw it in there, and get faster results. But you also, let's say somebody's overweight, right? You're about to something, 250 to 300 pounds or more. You do not want to lose, let's say 5, 6 pounds every week. That's gonna really, your skin is not gonna catch up with that weight loss. So what you're gonna have is you're gonna have loose skin at the end. You're gonna get, you're not gonna have motivation. You're gonna get depressed from it because you're seeing all this weight loss, but you have that excess skin. Just take your time with it. Try to do it slow. You could lose like 3 or 4 pounds since you're so heavy. Uh, for somebody that's not that heavy, try to again lose like 1 or 2 pounds. You do not want to start losing a lot of weight real fast. After a couple of months, it could turn into muscle loss. But if you keep your eye on your nutrition, you're hitting your macros. And when I say macros, that's your nutrients, your proteins. You're eating a nice quantity for your body weight. You're eating a nice quantity for your carbs, and you're eating a nice quantity, for your healthy fats. Healthy fats, guys, makes a huge difference. Yes, you could do it if you can eat any food, and as long as you eat less, you will lose weight. But healthy fats have so much more benefits for your skin. Healthy fats controls your hormones. Healthy fats will make your skin look a lot better, a lot clearer, and a lot tighter. Especially for those that have loose skin. You eat avocados, nuts, peanut butter, cooked with extra virgin olive oil, cottage cheese. Those things play a major factor in how your skin is gonna look, and it also helps. Also applying cocoa butter, on your body twice a week, and other creams for those of you that have loose skin. Even for those of you that are pretty skinny, but you want to take care of your skin because it makes a big difference. I'm telling you right now, it makes a huge difference. It's small, but adding it up to the months, it makes a big difference when you're cutting. Even I use it, and I'm not overweight at all. But that's something you guys want to do. You want to put it into little factors. Weight when it comes to cardio. When you want to add cardio, if you're really out of shape, start with walking outside. Start walking on the treadmill incline. 10, 20 minutes, 3, 4 times a week. You could do jump roping if you can. Start with 10. Rest in between. Start increasing little by little. Start 3, 4 times a week. You could do it at the end of your workouts, or you could take a separate day. Let's say a couple hours. After the gym, you could do 10 minutes of a home workout, 5 minutes, 4 minutes of a high intensity body workout. You could pick so many different types of cardios. It depends on which one you want. Let's say you're in a diet, right? And let's say you have a coach. A coach is telling you, I want you to eat this, and 4 days a week I want you to burn 400 calories on the treadmill. You get on your treadmill and you don't get off until you burn those 400 calories. And that alone, guys, is gonna put you in a deficit. It's gonna put you, it's gonna help your body burn fat. It's that simple, guys. It's just doing like the little things and making weight training your priority. If for those women that want, to keep their butts, you want to go hard on legs. You want to go hard on those squats, on those lunges. For guys that want to keep, of course, legs and your upper body, you want to go hard. You want to make sure you're giving it your all at the gym and weight training. Burn more calories with weight training. You know, let once you start losing weight with weight training and your nutrition, then when it starts slowing down, that's when you want to start adding cardio. Let's say 3 times a week. Let's say 4 times a week, or in other words, you can start adding ab exercises. Let's say you start adding ab exercises to burn extra calories that way. Or let's start adding some, home workouts. Let's start doing some push-ups, at chest day a couple hours later. Let's do some close grip push-ups on tricep day. Things like that can make entire big difference on your results. Just burning more calories through, exercises that actually build muscle instead of cardio, which just burns calories, and too much of it and with bad nutrition can make you, go from a big potato to a small potato, making you look a lot smaller when you do your cut. And hopefully, guys, that helps. Up in the screen, guys, I'll put a video up how to count your calories. That makes your life a whole lot easier. It seems impossible at first. It seems like a lot of work, guys. But all you're doing, it takes 5 minutes a day. You add the foods that you're going to eat, and it tells you if you're losing weight, if you're eating too much, or you're not. Real easy, guys. Just check it out. Hopefully you guys like it. And if you need a meal plan, you need somebody to help you out with things to eat and what to do, that way you get it right the first time, just go to my website or just email me at easyxangeles@yahoo.com. I'll put it on the screen. And I'll bring more videos for January, guys, and some cutting as well. And I'll talk to you guys next time.